It's May 20th, 5:23 p.m. Here we are in St. George's Street. As you can see, there is no signs saying that these are prohibited areas. There's no code, no statute, nothing. So we're coming up on Hippolyta, or Hippolyta. Hippolyta. So here we are in Hippolyta, and as you can see, this is a public street. This is a public place. There's nothing that should be hindering the public nor the people from exercising any unalienable, constitutional, protected natural rights. This is the area that they're saying is prohibited. Do you see any signs? Do you see any signs anywhere with statutes or codes? Not that they matter, but do you see any warning? Anything that says that this is a prohibited area? There is no evidence of such. In a public place, they do not have a right to cordon off areas of the public that's owned by the people. Cannot turn a public place or a public forum into a private area, limiting the common use of the people. My name is Seneca, the living man, Seneca Lee Seabird, superscripted copyright symbol. I'm here on, I turned in a notice of special appearance. So I'm here on divine special appearance. If you want, I also have a copy of the notice. Sui juris just soli, in my own right, also right of the soil. I'm going to reserve all rights delegated by God and protected by the Constitution, recognized under UCC 1-308 without prejudice. Also UCC 1-103.6. Bringing the UCC.
I just want to check, looks like the officer requested a continuance, and I believe that we didn't have, did we not have an address on file? So we didn't have an address on file for you to send you a notice of reset, so we are going to continue your case.
Okay, well, I'd like to motion and plea and demur because of the fact that I am a non-citizen national and have all the pertinent documents as far as my political status, and I deny any allegations against me, the constitutionality of the ordinance.
We'll set the case for a hearing, and you can make whatever arguments you want to make when.
Isn't this a hearing?
Present for this. This was going to be the hearing, but the other side requested a continuance, and your contact information is not on file.
Okay.
So if you could, Madam Clerk, is there a form that he could fill out? Do you have an address?
I live inside myself, so I'm a non-resident.
We'll go ahead and give you another notice to come back when, let's see, do we just want to put it on the July 1st date? We can. Okay. Can we, let's see, why don't we special set it? So the regular docket starts at 1:30, kind of like you saw. Since you want to raise some specific arguments, can we set it maybe for 2:30? Or is it morning? Yeah, it's morning. Okay, how about 10:30 then? That day.
Technically, I have, if I was going to raise arguments, because inside my mind I figured that within a hearing it's really questioning venue, standing, status, and then jurisdiction, and
so
then...
I'm not going to be able to do anything, rule any motion without the other side present, okay?
Right, I respect that. I understand what you're saying.
Okay, so we're going to give you another date to come back. And
Okay.
let me just double check if you don't have anything else set for 10:30 that day. And I wanted to give you a time certain so that way you didn't have to wait for every other case to go forward like we just did today.
I actually called yesterday to file a continuation for today, and they told me that I can't because it's such short notice. So I called.
I'm not sure who you spoke to, but they should have been able to see on the docket that there was a request from the other side to continue it.
And so I came in to drop in off my special notice of special appearance, as well as all my documents as far as my actual copies of my jurisdiction on the land and soil, and that I'm not under special maritime jurisdiction. There is no contract that I've signed into. I don't contract.
You can raise whatever arguments that you're gonna make, all right, so we'll do.
Well, wouldn't an argument be made at trial?
So we're gonna set this for a contested hearing, because that's what you're telling me that you wanna have, okay, and if you wanna file anything in writing regarding venue, I think you have filed some things already.
Yeah, I did under, because I also contacted the state attorney, because under federal rules of civil procedure, you can't just come in and challenge the constitutionality of a statute or an ordinance. So you have to actually write the state attorney or the general attorney, for the federal side.
So what you're here for is
Attorney
a
General.
municipal ordinance violation.
Right, and
So
I
we
came
won't be able
here,
to- So we'll see you back here on July 1st at 10:30, okay?
well, what I was coming in here to basically motion and demur because of not to argue the facts of the case, but whether in the constitutionality of the substance, and that there isn't necessarily enough there to go by based off the ordinance being constitutional.
So I'm not able to hear any arguments about your case. The other side is not here, okay? So you can say whatever you want to say on July 1st at 10:30, okay?
Okay,
All right.
thank you. I found out that the ordinance that supposedly was followed was not written by a legislator, so therefore it is an unconstitutional ordinance. I do have my paperwork here to prove my nationality. I had already gone to court, they dismissed the case and everything, so can't have like double jeopardy or anything.
Committing the same violation again, so it's not double jeopardy. We're not
Well,
writing you the ticket for.
I already got the ticket, I went into court, and then they dismissed the case. And I proved everything through the affidavits that I have. Here's my nationality. For the record, I am just going to reserve all rights delegated by God, protected by the Constitution, recognized under UCC 1-30 away without prejudice. Also UCC 1-103.6, bringing the Uniform Commercial Code back in harmony with the common law. Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Any actions commenced against me may be in violation of USC 18-241, conspiracy to go against my rights under color of law, 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. Also may be susceptible to US 42, 1983, civil action lawsuit against my rights for a deprivation of rights under color of law. I have all my paperwork here for you to check out for yourself. I'm not technically violating any laws. They did dismiss the case. They said that I was not. I understand that you guys are doing a job. I'm not out here trying to hurt anybody. I didn't go to court. I did go to court. I have all the affidavits right here, as well as my status. I know you guys are out here, Here you go. Charges. How you doing, Mr. Bryan? I did go to court to dismiss the case on me. I reserved all rights. Again, I mean no disrespect to you guys. I know you're out here doing your job, but the ordinance that I was found under between the licensing and permitting, it wasn't directed or written up by legislation. It was actually written by board of directors and town commissioners. So therefore, it is an unconstitutional statute or ordinance, and it is recognized under the color of law. I'm not actually contracting with you guys. I'm not under an acquiescence or tacit agreement. There is no corpus delicti. I did not hurt anybody. I do have my affidavit of status.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, I'm a non-citizen national. Not a U.S. citizen.
Required to abide by all the laws and ordinances.
Yeah, under the common law. Under Florida Statute 2.01 places Florida still under a common law state. Where there's a right, there's always a remedy, especially as a living man or a natural person under the basic rights.
What are you doing with it? Selling it? Giving it away? What are you doing?
I'm trading. It's under a trade agreement, also under the Jade Treaty of 1794. American citizens, along with the Native Americans, are allowed to have private commerce as well as private travel that is outside the jurisdiction of the United States. And after the Civil War, they created the United States and the 14th Amendment citizen. Yeah, Florida statute FS 2.01. Florida is a common law state. And so when there's a right, there's always a remedy. I'm not a U.S. citizen, and so I understand that you guys are operating under your capacity of authority within your jurisdiction. I'm also a non-resident, which means I'm not in rem personam jurisdiction. I'm in my own private, personal jurisdiction. The definition of public in the Black's Law Dictionary is essentially common to all use, and actually is owned by the people. I'm one of the people in several states. I know it's hard to believe, but it is the truth. America still is a republic. We're not actually a communistic state yet. We still have a free market, entrepreneurialistic society to help with a free economy. And again,
question for you.
Yes, sir.
Why do you choose to do it on this street where it's prohibited? Why don't you just go where you can go?
Well, before I
What's
did
the
it.
big deal about being right here?
Well, let me finish, sir. I understand what you're saying, but see, I did not know at first that I wasn't allowed to be here until
told you like 4 times now.
No, well, it's more of harassment now and intimidation and coercion. So we're governed by consent, and I have a right to be here, is what I'm saying. So just as I said, when you guys placed me under a de facto arrest, I understand. I'm not challenging the reality of the validity of who you are. What I'm saying is that as a people, we also have authority, as all political power is inherent in the people. So I'm one of the people exercising my life in pursuit of happiness and also private property.
We're checking to verify real quick.
Okay, I understand. They did dismiss the case, so therefore I did not break any laws. I did challenge the constitutionality of the statute and the ordinance. Like I said, if it was not written under the due process clause, if it's not written by legislation, it's not constitutional. And it was created because I talked to the state attorney. I did call the legislator. I did go to the clerk of courts. And
What's the purple ones do?
which ones?
These right here.
Those are purple Sharite. So basically they represent unconditional love. Opening up the heart space.
That's some nice stuff.
Thank you, brother.
We just gotta make sure we're not getting in trouble if we're not enforcing stuff. So we just gotta verify. We
I
just gotta be
understand.
consistent with everybody out here.
Well, I want to do it with you, Mr. Bryant, that I did with him. I'm going to reserve all rights delegated by God and protected by the Constitution, recognizing UCC 1-308, also UCC 1-103.6, bring the UCC back in harmony with the common law. Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution, sir? Mr. Bryant, did you swear an oath?
Constitution?
Yeah, did you swear an oath to protect and serve it?
All right, Mr. Seneca. So, going to be issuing you a citation
Another one?
pending without a permit, correct? So, do you have your license with you? Or
Well, I have my,
form of ID?
I do have my passport.
Okay, that's fine. Have you ever been issued an identification
Well, he did.
card from the states?
I did, but I reserved all rights with it, and I'm not technically driving right now, so there's no need for commercial. Well, my passport proves my nationality. My driver's license is only used for commercial activity whenever I'm conducting commercial activity on the highways, which I did go out of my way to get this, because I am a United States,
Passport card?
yeah, a U.S. national. I did look under the due process clause of the licensing and permitting. They said that did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution, Mr. Bryan? Everybody does. Well, that's in the article, right? So you're a peace officer. Will any actions commenced against me may be in violation of USC 18, Part 1, Chapter 13, 241, conspiracy.
We don't make the laws and ordinances, we just enforce them.
I get that, but I'm doing everything without
When
prejudice.
it comes
just like
time
you are.
to debate them, you do that in court.
I already went to court and they dismissed the case over the same charge.
Okay.
And they said, because it's not written by legislation, it's not actually a constitutional ordinance. It is under the color of law. So under 241, conspiracy to go against my rights under color of law, and also 242, deprivation of rights under color of law.
The thing is, we don't want to have to keep going through this every time we see you.
Well, I
we
get
gotta come
that.
up with some understanding.
Well, I want it to be that, hey, we're, we elect people to represent us. You guys
You don't want
actually,
to keep getting tickets every day. This is stupid.
Well,
we don't
again-
want to keep ticketing you every day. This is not.
I technically didn't break the law. This is just an ordinance under the color of law. And I'm going to finish what I'm saying. Under 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. No, I live inside myself. I'm not a resident. A res is a thing. Ident could be indentured or identity. A thing identified. I'm not a thing. I'm a living man. Not a corporate construct. I do not consent or any kind of tacit agreement. I don't acquiesce. I understand you guys are doing your job, and I do respect. You guys could be out there like finding murderers right now. You guys could find rapists, drug dealers, and I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying a guy out here exercising his rights, freely trading his personal art out here to the public without prejudice. There's, I've been told to keep my music down. I do. I bring a lot, I believe, positive to the community, not negative. This is extortion and barratry because there's a victimless crime. You're trying to create a lawsuit against me and my name, which is also copywritten, to gain financial gains. And that's essentially what it is. So, do you guys work for the people or do you work for a foreign agency? Well, I can't turn my right into a crime or a license. It's my right to be here. And, I get it. If I say any more, it's like I'm arguing. So I'm just going to be quiet now and exercise my Fifth Amendment. But I will say, actions commenced against me may be in violation of USC 18, Part 1, Chapter 13, 241, conspiracy to go against my rights under color of law, and 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, and may be susceptible to you guys and your department in the city to a USC 42, 1983 civil lawsuit for deprivation of rights under color of law. I want to not be harassed. I'm a free American. I went through all the proper procedures. If you read these lawful and legal documents, they do prove my status, that I'm not under your jurisdiction or subject to you guys.
So, you have a mobile vending permit issued to you by the city of St. Augustine?
That is, for me, I don't need to get a permit because it's...
That's a no. You don't have a permit.
No, sir.
Okay.
Within the legislation that I've read in the Due Process Clause, if it's not drawn up by legislation, it's an unconstitutional ordinance. So the ordinance was written by the Board of Directors, a couple of attorneys, and the Board of Commissioners of the town of St. Augustine. And so I'm one of the people, the public is owned by the people, and I'm out here just exercising my constitutional rights. Under the 9th Amendment is the rights shall not be constrained. Any enumeration of rights shall not be constrained or denied to the spirits of the people. So my rights can be enacted by me of what my right is. And without a right, there is no remedy. So I am enacting the common law and my rights under the Constitution, and this will be used as evidence to defend me in the court of law. I respect you guys. I have nothing against you. I don't know why. Do you guys, do you guys hate freedom?
No, we're not taking the freedom away from you right now.
No, that's true. So I do respect that. And you guys are being as cordial as possible.
About as polite as we can get.
I like it. It's a lot better than last time. But, with all due respect, these are ordinances that are under the color of law. Doesn't make them law. But I do respect you.
Here to St. Augustine.
But I do not agree to consent to any kind of contracting or anything like that. And I will stand on my rights and in my own square.
You'll look at it if you need it.
I think there's a lot more worse things that can be done out here than me setting up crystals and selling my art in my own expression.
everything I said you see in fault.
I do feel that this is coercion and being bullied in a way, but because you know, you guys have guns. It is intimidating. You guys are acting like my parents when you guys should be. Well, in a way, you're going to make me forced to be signing that contract or that suit against me.
Just
It's a
signing you
citation.
that we explained it and issued it to you. That's all.
Well, I'm going to do it under duress,
You can.
just like the last time. I have no choice. I'm going to have to.
You sure right to do it?
But they already dismissed the case the last time, so why do it again?
It's up to the judge. I can't do nothing with that. I can't speak for a judge. If they're dropping things every time we write a ticket, that's their choice. But the ordinance and the laws are still there.
The ordinance is not law. It's under the
You
color
have
of
to have
law.
a permit.
No, I don't have to.
Judges
because I'm
don't want to enforce
unincorporated.
it. That's on them. That's not on me.
Ones that have licensing and permits are people that are incorporated or operating as a business. I'm not a business. I'm unincorporated. I am a private American, non-citizen national, and I'm just exercising my unalienable rights. You can't convert my right into a crime or convert my right
Here's your passport.
into a license. But I am gonna work and fight. My name is also copyrighted, which means that you can't use my name for commercial gains without my consent, or it'll be copyright infringement. USC 17 statute. I do respect you guys this time for not putting hands on me.
You didn't take it to that law. We don't like doing that.
Mr. Seeker, judge needs to sign right here. And it's not a permission to go for saying that you're getting your copy of the citation.
Okay.
Alrighty. And this is
You-
your copy.
Can I get get that on video too? I want to just get the ticket and the signature on video, please. Thank you.
I know carbon copy papers aren't always the best, especially after it's a little wet like this, so I did go in there and make sure you know the ordinance
Yeah.
number. This is the
CAD number again?
Yeah.
Okay.
And your coordinate information on it.
Okay.
So I'll need my officer name and badge
If you
number.
can, that'll be great. It's okay. I've been studying law for 10 years, so you guys are just helping me like really get some practice. So,
I'll get this out to you.
yeah.
If we have to go to court on this, then we
Yeah.
know firsthand too. So.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, you cannot amend your copy. So we see you again.
I'm going to challenge the statute and the constitutionality of it.
You're done.
And if they throw that out like they did last time, you know.
Just because they dismiss a citation doesn't necessarily mean that they're deeming the entire ordinance as constitutional. So
No, I know why they
until-
dismissed it. And
Until the ordinance is actually deemed unconstitutional and struck down, then right
No,
now
okay.
it's still in place. So
anybody, like let's say you guys, right? You went ahead, you knew the laws, okay? And you knew how to speak the language within the law, then you're obviously going to be a different situation than other people that don't know the language of the law, okay? So if I'm invoking all my rights and I'm standing on them and I'm letting you know these things, because I have the Florida legal guidelines right here. I went to go be a cop. And I didn't want to usurp people's rights. I had it against my moral conscience and duty of allowing myself to do this. But I got the books to be a police officer, and right here is where it says civil action for deprivation of rights under Title 42, Chapter 21, Subchapter 1, Section 1983 of the United States Code, commonly referred to as the 1983 action. every person who under the color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state, territory, or the District of Columbia subjects or causes to be subjected any citizen of the United States or other person within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in the action at lawsuit, inequity, or other proper proceeding for redress. So, and then it says, it is important to note that any action brought under this section of the United States Code for deprivation of civil rights has to be indispensable elements that the actions complained about were performed under color of state law, and 2, by any one of a state official, i.e. a police or peace officer. So I've complained about these things. So I knew what to say, whereas other people don't. So because I know what to say, then clearly this is, I have rights. And even though nobody physically harmed me, this jurisdiction is exceeding into my personal jurisdiction, injuring my rights under the color of law.
What rights do you take away?
Well, you're saying that I need, so they defied somehow that having a right to sell. Well, when I looked at there's a defense court case that I don't need a license to practice law. I don't need a license to go defend myself or to be my own pro se attorney. How would it be no different than me sitting there saying I'm going to freely trade under the J Treaty, which also you guys swore an oath to protect and serve the law of the land. And I showed you my status, which I'm on the law of the land. You said that you swore an oath to protect and serve the Constitution. I believe it's Article 3. So Article 3, it says, right here. No, it's Article, it is...
It's like he said, as long as that is in place with the permit, they have to strike it down before we stop enforcing it.
Okay.
So as long as
Well,
it's
I'll
on the
take it
books,
again.
we're going to enforce it. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, you guys...
They would
can
have
do
to
this
go
all-
through the proper channels and get rid of it, and then we're done with it.
There's a due process law, okay?
But that's not what we do. We enforce laws on the books.
I
That's
know,
all
but
we
how do
do.
you know that you're really enforcing the law when I'm trying to
Because
tell you
it's clear cut,
that
the ordinance and
the
permits.
Constitution is the law of the land? See, now, all right, this isn't like church right now, okay? So this is not like I'm trying to sell you guys a religion, all right? I'm telling you the fact that there's the Constitution, which is the law of the land, and the treaties made. I'm invoking J Treaty 1794. So that's still one of the laws.
Where are you going to head out to now?
Oh, you guys want me to leave?
Violation.
You don't have to leave, per se. You just can't sell without a permit. So as long as you don't have your stuff out and offering things for sale, then you can continue to sit on a public sale. That's not a violation. You just can't vend without a permit.
I have the law in my phone, but I don't want to stop recording. My phone, I have the law of the due process clause within licensing and permit. And as long as legislation is not the one to draw up the ordinance, then it's not constitutional. It may be in the
You
color
can
of
contest
law.
that. Okay, but right here, they're telling you that if you continue to conduct business and vend without a permit, then we're
Also, under due process, it says,
continue to issue you citations.
there's also, where is it? Right here.
You can go through all that in the court. We're not going to do all that here. Keep doing it, you're going to keep getting tickets. That's all there is to it. Just put this away, like you said, and you're fine. We can sit here all night long. It's fine. You just can't be out here selling it. That's it. Fight it in court, like you said you would. That's fine. We're not trying to give you a problem. But you can't just keep doing what we're telling you.
But I
You
did
can't
go
do.
to court.
You
And
go
they
again?
dismissed it.
They might not dismiss it this time. That's up to the judge. I can't control that. I can't.
So what if they dismiss
I mean,
it
people
again?
get speeding tickets. It gets dismissed. Does that mean speeding's legal?
So let's say they dismiss it again.
What if I speed and
Right,
you dismiss it?
unless we go to court and they deem, and it goes to something higher and they deem that ordinance to be unconstitutional, and it's struck down in the city ordinance, and you won't pay citations fee. But until that happens, then they can dismiss tickets all they want to. But again, that's up to the judge. That's not necessarily up to the city attorney. It's not up to us. If a judge decides to dismiss a ticket, that's not necessarily saying it's unconstitutional or that the violation didn't happen. It's just he's taking it under his
But if he
authority
keeps
to dismiss
dismissing it, essentially, and then you guys keep issuing tickets, what the judge is recognizing is my rights. And then
Not
you
necessarily.
guys are coming out here and saying,
Still,
well,
he dismisses it doesn't mean it's not valid. We can dismiss speeding tickets. Speeding's still illegal. We can dismiss them all day long.
I understand.
I know
but
people
it's
get
still
tickets all the
rights,
time.
though.
They always get dropped.
All I'm saying, then under due process, as long as, so until I go to court and I'm actually tried for the crime, that I haven't really committed the crime yet. So now I have due process to continue business as usual until I go to court again. That's due process of law.
We've
See,
already
due
explained it.
process-
We're not going to go in circles on this.
I'm not going in circles. I'm saying you guys swore an oath to protect the Constitution.
Keep doing it. You're going to get cited.
Under the 14th Amendment, I told you to start out.
Explain it to you like 6 times.
You guys are explaining another problem with the and telling me basically how within these ordinances that you guys have created that is somehow a law.
Take care. Have a good day.
And I'm telling you that they already dismissed the case. I'm already telling you that they dismissed the case. And under due process law, I have one, that it's not written up by legislation, that it's actually not a constitutional right. Okay, that's one. So I already contacted the state attorney. I even contacted the city of St. Augustine myself in the investigation of these things. And then they admitted to me that it's not legislation to draw up these ordinances. It's the city. Well, I don't work for the city. You do. So these are really your laws. I'm not the one who's breaking any law. If anything, usurping my rights and infringing upon them or injuring them constantly, that's committing a crime.
I'm just letting you know, like you said, we're out here doing our job, as we've been told by our command staff, by the city attorney. The city ordinance has not been deemed unconstitutional yet, and therefore, if we see violations of it, we will still continue issuing citations. So, if we continue to see you vending and operating, conducting business without a vendor's permit, we will continue to get cited for each time that we see it. Alright?
I understand.
Alright, see.
As long as you understand.
Have a good day.
I'm going to continue to stand on my rights because it's the right thing to do. I haven't done anything wrong. Did you guys swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution? Everything
You
I
have
do
your
is
ID?
under threat of duress.
Okay. Do you have your ID
Okay.
on you, please? Thank you, sir.
I choose not to contract with the state. I'm a non-citizen
Siebert, right? Your
national.
last name?
Yep, which
Siebert?
is also copywritten.
All right. Off of 20 out of 5, St. John's.
I mean, it's not necessarily a crime.
You have another unit, but you just be code 1 to be
It's a sense of, I reserve all rights delegated by God, protected by the Constitution, recognized in the UCC 1-308 without prejudice. Also UCC 1-103.6, bringing the Uniform Commercial Code in harmony with the common law, which is under the Constitution. Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution, Ms. Carmen? Did you, Ms. Carmen? Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution? Well, any actions commenced against me may be in violation of USC 18, 241, 242.
Name, date, birth.
Conspiracy to go against rights under color of law. Also, deprivation of rights under color of law. Please note that you've been informed.
Sierra, Echo, November.
Any
Echo,
actions
Charlie,
commenced
Alpha.
against me
Middle name Lee, last name.
may be in violation.
Sierra, Echo, India, Bravo, Echo, Romeo, Tango, white male, 12/1 of 1983.
Yep. And susceptible to a USC 42 1983 civil action lawsuit. You know, I understand you guys are out here enforcing and doing your job, but there's a sense of resentment, which is an injustice from police thinking that they're forcing justice, which, I'm standing on my rights. And I don't want to be...
This is what's going to happen. I'm going to write you citations for not having a vendor's permit and also being in a prohibited area.
It's now a prohibited area.
Yes, sir.
Well, the public's owned by the people. I'm one of the people.
So I'm just letting you know.
And, I haven't really technically committed a crime.
Like, educate you.
Well, it goes both ways. There's rights that I'm standing on. And what you're saying is that you don't want to protect my rights. You want to enforce policy. And there is laws that protect my rights. Under the Constitution, the 9th Amendment, basic rights.
All it is a vendor's permit.
All political authority is inherent in the people. like I said, governments can only issue privileges and then they can take them away, whereas God gave me a right to be here. All this is spiritual. So really, technically, there's a separation from church and state. I'm one of the people. I'm not a corporate entity or a franchise,
Never said you were.
right? But I'm in a separate jurisdiction in the de jure side, and you're coming to me from a public de facto
All I'm
side.
saying, have you ever talked to 50 Bridge Street about getting a permit?
I mean,
It'll be a monthly thing, and you just got to renew it, and they give you a little license that you carry, and then they give you a place that you're.
that's an ex post facto law.
Regardless if you have that, St. George and Hypala are completely off.
You've told me this, Miss Carmen.
I know, and I don't understand why we got to keep doing this.
Because I feel like I'm standing on my rights and then I'm being kicked around and bullied and intimidated and coerced, which, you know, there's involuntary servitude and then there's voluntary. So that means it implies that there's voluntary servitude in the 13th Amendment. I'm not a 14th Amendment citizen. I'm not located in the Washington District of Columbia. So I'm not inside that jurisdiction. I'm in the Republic of Florida. I'm operating as one of the people with my God-given unalienable rights under the common law. So while you have a discretion to operate and enforce these policies, you also could operate and recognize remedy under the common law and let me exercise my rights, which is what you swore an oath to protect and serve and to do. An ordinance still follows under the color of law, and I'm operating in the common natural law, not under color of law. So I'm trying to respect you guys and not bring this to a level of where I have to write claims, because right now what you're doing is putting a lien on me, and you're trying to enforce and put a debt on my name under a copywritten name, under a charge. A charge turns into a tax, but it's also a suit. So you're filing a lawsuit against me in the name of the city under the color of law, trying to violate my rights. So while you think I'm committing a crime, you're also committing a crime. And I keep asking you guys to respect my rights, and then you're saying you are enforcing an ordinance on me that I didn't contract with anybody. I'm not an employee of the state, the government, or anybody. So the only thing I'm to have an allegiance to is the state and to protect my rights and stand on them. That's it. And you swore an oath to protect and serve the Constitution. Am I wrong? Am I wrong, Miss Garman? Did you do that or no?
How tall are you?
I mean, a good estimate?
Yeah.
Why do you ask these
I'm
questions?
just curious.
You know, I'm probably the same height as you.
5'7"?
I guess.
Thank you. What color eyes you got?
They're eyes that are a color. What color? I don't know. They change. I'm not going to incriminate myself, Miss Garman, and help you with your investigation. Okay? I understand and respect you and your authority, but I have authority too as one of the people. It says it in the Constitution that all political authority is inherent in the people. Right now, there is a people that are afraid of their government, and when there's a people that are afraid of their government, there's tyranny. But when the government is afraid of their people, there is liberty. And I could be doing a lot worse things out there in the world, but I'm not. I'm exercising my rights. And now I'm being threatened or at least intimidated in a way, you know, because it is intimidating having people with guns
Do you mind if I use your car?
try to enforce these things. How's it going? I'm going to reserve all rights delegated by God and protected by the Constitution, recognized in the UCC 1-308 without prejudice. Also UCC 1-103.6, bringing the UCC in harmony with the common law. It's nice to meet you. Can I get your name? And
Officer Schuster.
Schuster?
Yes, sir.
Can I get your badge number?
My ID number is 3002.
3002. It's nice to meet you. Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution?
Yeah, I did.
Perfect. Any actions commenced against me may be in violation of USC, United States Code, 18, Part 1, Chapter 13, 241, conspiracy to go against my rights under color of law, and also 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. Please note that you've been informed, and also may be susceptible to a USC 842, 1983 civil law class action lawsuit. Unfortunately, I have to say those things. You guys are peace officers. You're trying to enforce an ordinance under the color of law. I have every right to be here. I'm one of the people. The people own the public. The public is owned by the people. All political authority is inherent in the people. I'm not a corporate entity. I have not contracted with the city or state. She's trying to put under duress a citation against me in violation of not having some vendor's permit and now being in a prohibited area, which there is no sign, there is no legislative statute. Any code that's written and not legislative is unconstitutional. And I have respect for law enforcement. I just did not want to. I was going to be a police officer, but when I found out that they don't necessarily always follow the Constitution, I had a conflict of interest. I wanted to be a game warden, had all these things. I got accused of public adjuster fraud and insurance fraud. I beat that case after 2 years because I wasn't going to accept a bribe. And everything I'm doing is more spiritual. I'm not operating at a commercial capacity. I mean, whether it be food or somebody donating Federal Reserve notes, which is not technically money, it's just a promissory note. You can't pay a debt with a debt. Money's not real. It's backed up by debt. You guys work for the bank and you don't even realize it. Stealing, extorting money for victimless crimes. Do you guys intend to hurt me or injure me because I've invoked my rights? Okay. Hello, I'm going to reserve all rights delegated by God and protected by the Constitution, recognized in the UCC 1-308 without prejudice, and also UCC 1-103.6, bringing the Uniform Commercial Code in harmony with the common law. Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution, ma'am?
You swear.
An oath to protect and serve the Constitution of the state.
There's a whole spiel to it.
Well, it's not really a spiel, it's the real deal. If we don't enforce our rights, then we don't have any rights. So I'm invoking my rights on the scene. Court begins now. You know, so what's your name, ma'am?
I'm Officer Ipley.
Ipey?
Ipley. It's in the notes. It's in the call of the notes.
Okay, well, it's nice to meet you. Yep. Furthermore, any actions commenced against me may be in violation of USC, United States Code, Part 1, Chapter 13, 241, conspiracy to go against rights in the color of law. Also, deprivation of rights in the color of law. Did you guys swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution, or was that an imagination, or? It really did happen, right, Miss Heipel? Did you do that?
I don't know. I'm not listening to you.
I know, but that's kind of sad.
I'm not even paying attention.
You guys are public servants, and it seems like you're working
We're
for a...
serving the public right now.
No, it seems like you're serving a foreign agency or a foreign nation or a foreign interest.
Anyway, so place them is like.
That's what it seems like. Do you guys equate violence and coercion with consent?
No.
I'm really sorry. When I was a kid,
You're being too hard. You're being too hard for us.
when I was a kid, they gave me a dictionary and said, read that for fun. So that's how it happened.
All right. That's good.
So, you know, I love words. They mean something. They're kind of powerful.
Who's done really appropriate?
I don't know. I haven't looked.
I am a Native American, a non-citizen national, here on the American soil, not the United States Incorporated, under USC 28-3215A, which is a federal corporation. So, I mean, it's an ordinance. I'm going to have to go to court And it's, you know, if there's no warrant, there's really no crime. I didn't commit a crime.
All right, Seneca. I'm writing a citation for not having a permit in a prohibited area. I only write you one. Non-criminal.
Do you have my passport?
Yep, I'll get back to you in just a moment. Room number 228, court date June 4, 2024 at
Okay.
1:30 p.m. All right? You have any
Yep.
questions for me?
No.
All right, real quick, by signing this, it's not a admission of guilt. Just let you know that you're going to receive a copy of the citation. Citation's $100. You can also have 15 days to pay the citation.
I
You
understand.
do so.
Barratry and extortion is also a
All
crime.
right, can you sign the X for me, please?
Yep.
And you're going to pack up and head out, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, usually due process of law is until allegedly we're all innocent until proven guilty.
Or I
So
can
now
take all this stuff and put it in evidence.
I
and you won't see
understand.
it.
I'm
trying
gonna
to be cool
go.
with you.
I'm gonna go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
It was that simple.
All right.
Long signature.
Yeah.
All right, we'll switch. Thank you.
Thank
There's
you.
that back. Let me give you your copy.
God bless you.
There you go, Seneca. We'll hang out here until you're gone, all right?
I understand. Well,
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
forcing me to move myself along. Yeah. Threatened with arrest. You know, they do. They force you into compliance. Fear and intimidation. And then, you know, put so much hard work into this stuff. They don't give a shit. Yeah, they're making me move, of course. Yeah. So, you know, it's good to see you though.
not challenging it, I can go ahead and ask the city what they are looking for as far as,
I already did challenge the constitutionality. First thing I want to do is just reserve all rights delegated by God, protected by the Constitution, recognized in the UCC 1-308, without prejudice.
what is your constitutional argument?
So, under Florida statute as well, it recognizes under 671.207 the reservation of rights. Next would be Florida statute 2.01, recognizing the common law, okay? And also asking you guys if you swore an oath to protect and serve the Constitution. Did you swear an oath to protect and serve the Constitution? Okay, so you guys are public servants and trustees, and I'm the authorized representative beneficiary of said Seneca Lee Seabird superscripted copyright symbol. I'm here on propria persona per se, special divine appearance, sui juris just soli. So I had already communicated with them about the constitutionality of the statute itself, or the ordinance, under the color of law. When I had met with Sergeant Garman, I had reserved all rights through every single component of contact made by Sergeant Garman. It is on video. I do have sworn affidavits. I had gone into the process of really mentioning the demur. Also, I had sent the state attorney a constitutional challenge under federal rules and civil procedure under Rule 5.1, a constitutional challenge to the statute. During my first contact during March, no, it was 4/19/2024. I had, yeah, let me get that right.
So I'm understanding that you're denying the citation, so we'll go ahead and have a trial, all right? So I'm gonna hear from the sergeant first, and then I can hear your testimony on why you think that you did not violate the ordinance, but I'm not hearing anything specific as far as why you think this particular ordinance is unconstitutional.
Well, the reality is that I was not operating in a commercial capacity. I had already reserved all rights delegated by God and protected by the Constitution.
I will hear your testimony about that.
I had
Okay,
let-
so let me start with the sergeant because the city has the burden of proof, all right?
Yep.
To prove that you violated the statute or ordinance. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with that and then I can take your
I
testimony.
had asked the city attorney to provide a contract, because if it's civil, so first it would be status. All right, I'm a non-citizen national, non-resident to the state of Florida. Under 47.011 describes what a cause of action is. So in order for there to be a cause of action, there has to be, it says right here in chapter 47.
It's not a civil complaint in the sense of one party suing another for monetary damages. It is a citation for violating a ordinance.
But that, what I'm saying is
So
that
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take testimony from the sergeant and then you can respond.
under
Okay?
status, so it would be
All right, so
status,
I'm gonna ask
venue, jurisdiction.
Okay.
So first it would be the status. I'm letting you know that I'm one of the people in several states. I've given you my
I'm
status.
not sure about status, okay? I have jurisdiction as a county court judge over municipal ordinance
Well,
violations.
under the
okay?
common law,
So to the extent you're raising an argument about jurisdiction, that is overruled, denied, all right?
well,
So I'm
once
gonna
it's
take-
challenged, the burden of proof needs to be met within that, between subject matter, whether I'm a in personam or a resident.
So I'm gonna take testimony from the sergeant, and then I'll take testimony from you about whether you violated the ordinance, okay? Make
Okay.
sure you raise your right hand. Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, and if you would state your name and occupation for the record.
Brittany Garvin, Sergeant with the San Luis Police Department.
All right, and if you would tell me about the citation.
Yes, it was on May 10th, 2024, approximately 6:37 PM. I observed Seneca, who I've had prior contacts with. He was on High College Street, just west of St. George Street on the north side of the road. He had a large blanket set up on High College Street, and he was out there with his collection of rocks. And when I made contact with him, I asked him if he was selling them, donating them, or trading them. He did advise he would take donations or trade them. At that time, I tried to explain the ordinance to him that he has to have a mobile visitor permit, and he did not have that with him, as well as that high vault is off limits regardless if you have a visitor permit. So I issued him only one permit, and that was for not having a permit, which is 17-502.
All right, do you have any questions for Sergeant Garvin?
Well, there is, right here, bear with me and God bless you guys. So she had informed me that I was in a public place and
So
said
are
that that
you-
was prohibited.
Are you testifying? You don't have any questions for Sergeant Garman? I'll go ahead and swear you in.
Well, within the reality is she was claiming that I violated some
Can I
ordinance.
get you to raise your right hand?
Okay?
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay? All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
So there's 16 American jurisprudence. Hold on a second. Bear with me, please. Have patience. I've never done this before, so I am coming from the land and soil jurisdiction as one of the people of the several states, as I have given you within my status. There is many codes which I was attempting to write down to have a little bit more order in this, but it was discussing the corpus juris secundum and the reality of a unconstitutional law. So we have personal liberty, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You asked me if I violated some ordinance, and it says right here under 16 American jurisprudence 2D section 177 late 2D section 256. It reads as follows: the general misconception is that any statute passed by legislators bearing the appearance of law constitutes a law of the land. The U.S. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Any statute to be valid must be in agreement. It is impossible for both the Constitution and a law violating it to be valid. One must prevail. This is distinctly stated as follows: the general rule is that an unconstitutional statute, though having the form and name of law, is in reality no law, but is wholly void and ineffective for any purpose, since unconstitutionality dates from time of its enactment, and not merely from the date of the decision so branding it. An unconstitutional law in legal contemplation is as inoperative as if it had never been passed. Such a statute leaves the question that it purports to settle just as it would be had the statute not been enacted. Since an unconstitutional law is void, the general,
Can you explain how this ordinance is unconstitutional?
because it's represented under the color of law, which is not, it would be in Article 6 of the Constitution, paragraph 2, which you all swore an oath to defend and protect. It basically says, this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. So this is the supreme law of the land, as well as the Constitution of the Republic of Florida, okay? So it says, it shall be the supreme law of the land, and judges in every state shall be bound thereby, anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. So because there was no victim or no crime, then it would be some kind of civil contractual agreement. But I already said right away that I don't contract with you. I have it on video with her. God bless you. I mean all respect. I know you're just doing your job. But the reality is that because there was no standing, there was actually no real law that I broke. It was an ordinance under the color of law. So under 18 USC, Part 1, Chapter 13, 241, it talks about conspiracy to go against my rights under color of law, as well as 242, deprivation of rights under color of law, which can be susceptible to a 42 USC 1983 civil action lawsuit because of the deprivation of rights under color of law. So there's a difference between the law, which is the law of the land, and then
If you want to assert a
ordinances.
1983 claim, you're welcome to do that.
Well, what you're
I
trying to
have
do,
is-
what I would like to do is, be recognized from the land and soil jurisdiction, because it even says in paragraph 3, it says all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states. So it already right there recognizes two different jurisdictions
Do you
between,
want to tell me anything about the facts that Sergeant Garman testified to?
well,
As far as whether you had rocks?
okay, so these rocks actually are known as metaphysical crystals or spiritual crystals that anybody on a spiritual journey would come across and value, okay, as far as their spiritual journey of life. So when you look up the definition of spiritual in the Black's Law Dictionary, it describes it as, even the court is an ancient spiritual tradition. It is,
So the definitions we're gonna be working with are the ones in the ordinance, so goods or any tangible item.
But can you prove that the ordinance applies to me?
Sale means any trade or offer of trade for currency,
But I'm not
credit, or goods.
I'm not operating in a commercial capacity. I'm
So I understand your
unincorporated.
argument about that, I reject that, okay? So now we're looking at whether you violated the ordinance based on the facts that have been testified to.
The ordinance, what I believe from what I had written to the state attorney with no prevailing evidence back, is that I was challenging the constitutionality of the ordinance, as well as I had contacted.
And you read me the supremacy clause. What provision of the Constitution does this ordinance violate?
Well, in Article 1, or Amendment 1 in the Declaration of Florida, okay, in our civil rights, it says all political powers inherited by the people. Also, any rights or the enumeration or the enunciation of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So what that basically is saying is that there's rights by me that are to be recognized, that I recognize, just because you don't, because the government only creates privileges in ordinance, statutes,
So
and codes.
you're saying that the statute or the ordinance violates the First Amendment?
Amendment 1 out of the Constitution of Florida. Well, I have a right to conduct my own spiritual business or to be in a non-secular ecclesiastical jurisdiction or form. So what that's saying is that I have a right, especially out of the Articles of Confederation. If you read, which is mentioned in Article 6, the Confederation, it talks about the original documents of the Articles of Confederation. And if you read, it says, this is Article 4, it says, the better to secure and perpetuate mutual friendship and intercourse among the people of the different states in this union, the free inhabitants of each state, paupers and vagabonds and fugitives from justice accepted, shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of free citizens in the several states, and the people of each state shall have free ingress and regress, which means that I'm allowed to go inside public places and enter and go to and fro from any other state, and shall enjoy therein the privileges of trade and commerce. And I also invoke the Jay Treaty of 1794, which recognizes, which I did have inside my affidavit, and it talks about how, when in 1871, so it was the Reconstruction Act of 1871, we created a new form of government, and under USC 28 3002 15A, you'll see that the United States means a federal corporation. So it never did away with the original several states in the Union. And if you read Article 4, Section 4, where you have every union shall have a Republican form of government. So through the District of Columbia, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, they created the United States of America, District of Columbia. And then that has a spider web over every single state or jurisdiction. So under United States versus Susan B. Anthony, it discusses what a 14th Amendment citizen is versus what an American citizen is. So there's a difference between a first-class citizen and a second-class citizen. My whole life, my grandmother told me I'm a first-class citizen, and not to use my social security number. Unfortunately, the way that they do the whims of the world, if you're not educated, a lot of people give and use up their social security number, which to me is the mark of the beast. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm not a U.S. citizen, that I am protected by the Bill of Rights, which is also a law, as well as the Constitution of Florida, that doesn't subject me by contract. Also, Florida Statute 671103 is the right to contract. So I'm not contracted to the state, I'm not a resident, I'm not in contract due to the state, and under their policies, I'm one of the people of several states recognized in Article 6. And so therefore, I get it, under presumption of law, voluntary slavery under the 13th Amendment, or, the reality of being within your jurisdiction, from being afforded the districts from the District of Columbia, that would place me in their jurisdiction. Well, I have an affidavit of status, guardianship, as well as other forms that you probably wouldn't really necessarily give credence to, but these all prove that I'm not from that jurisdiction. And so therefore I'm protected by the Bill of Rights, as well as the rights unenumerated and enumerated within the Florida State Constitution that you guys were bound to protect. I have a case, actually, that discusses that right here. These are facts. Hold on a second, thank you. Every man is independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature. He's not bound.
What are you citing?
I'm saying that all
You
codes,
said you had a case. Do you have a citation that you want me to look at?
what I'm saying that case law, Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, describes all codes, rules.
Can you give me the citation for it?
It's Rodriguez versus Ray Donovan, U.S. Department of Labor, 769.F2D 1344-1348, 1985. All codes, rules, and regulations are applicable to the government authorities only, not human creators in accordance with God's laws, and all codes, rules, and regulations are unconstitutional and lacking in due process. So what I'm saying is that, just as I had discussed with the city of St. Augustine, if they can prove that there's a contract that then places them or me under their authority within these ordinances, that I'm an employee of the state, that I've subjected myself in any way.
That case is a completely different issue and a completely different jurisdiction. It doesn't apply here.
Rodriguez versus Donovan is case law. We also have
Case
shuttles.
doesn't apply here. So
If the state converts a liberty into a privilege, the citizen can engage in the right with impunity. Shuttlesworth versus City of Birmingham, 394 U.S. 147, 1965. This individual was protesting without a permit. That was the, so essentially, even though it may not be in the fabric or form of whatever that specific argument was, within that parameter that those attorneys and those judges had decided within the Supreme Court, those, are the law of the land within all Supreme Courts that prove that those codes, those rules, those regulations are under the fabric of the color of law and really apply to government officials, employees, and all the people that are working for the people under federal subsidiaries.
I appreciate your arguments. Is there anything else you want to say about the facts of the case?
Those are the facts.
Okay.
That's the
Then
con-
I reject your arguments and I find you guilty of violating the ordinance. What is the fine? $100?
Okay, well,
So it's $100 plus $40 for court costs. How long do you pay that?
I'm sorry, but I'm indigent and don't work that way. I've been deprived of the right to work to be able to pay for anything, so.
Talk to the clerk's office about whether you can send the payment plan, otherwise it would go to the
Um,
All right, you could say he has 90 days to pay. All right, and we'll be in recess while the clerk set up for the next hearing.
Where's the recess?